On this episode of the VW Ability channel, I turn this into this. Well, not actually this is trash. The first thing I've got to do is disassemble this pedal assembly. I'm going to take the brake pedal off because I'm going to clean it up and paint it. This is an AutoStick pedal assembly, so a manual will be slightly different, but it's fairly similar. There's a snap ring on the back here. And that just slides off like that. And then there's the rod for the master cylinder. There's a clip right here. And that just pops off. So that's part, and then I'll pull the pad off so I can clean under there and paint it up. Spring that comes off. And then I'll pull this off just so I can access the pin a little bit easier. It's not necessary. Then you tap that out with a hammer. We'll see if it moves or not. I think I'm going to have to get some heat on that one, or try some penetrating oil. So we'll go on to this one next. This is for the accelerator pedal. That one just pops out. So yeah, I'm going to have to work on this one a little bit more, but if it's not corroded, they'll just pop right out of there. Especially if they're worn out, then they'll just pull right out. So I got that pin out. I hit it with the Oxy-Acetylene torch. You got to be really careful when you do that because this is aluminum and you can melt that really fast. So I just focused the heat right on the ends that were sticking out until they got cherry red, and then put a vice grip on there and just kind of twisted it until it broke free. Now I just got to clean it up and paint it. I'll bring you back when everything's painted. Got everything painted up, so now I'm going to start putting it back together. I'm going to be using this EMPI kit here. I'll put a link in the description for this. It's an upgrade from the stock. The main upgrade here is the throttle arm assembly. You can see the stock one is prone to bending. This one has 2 points of contact, so it's less likely to bend. And it's got a ball bearing roller on there, which is much nicer. So I've installed one of these before, so I may need to refer to the directions, but I shouldn't have to. Now here's the one spot where I upgrade the kit. As you can see, there's a little bit of play in there. So what I do is I get some of these 5/16 brass washers. You gotta fiddle with it a little bit because sometimes the washer falls down in there. You go, like that. Now it's still a little bit of play, but not as much as before. Plus, you're wearing on the brass here instead of on the aluminum. I should probably put some lube on that before I did this, but then I'll have a mess and it won't be as easy to video, so I'll have to take it apart and do that again. Alright, I'm back. I got that lubed up. The other thing I did, the battery is going low, so I put the camera on charger, and during that time, this has to be drilled out to 1/4 inch to fit the new bolt in there. And while I was at it, if you notice, let's see if I can do this backwards. Put this in here. There's quite a bit of slop in that pedal. So what I do is I take some washers, some more brass washers. These ones are 1/4 inch. I believe these are Hillman Group or something like that. They're available at most hardware stores, but they're a little bit too thick and the diameter is too big, so I have to file a flat spot on there so they fit better, and then I file them on this, and then I file them on the side here, so they're not quite as thick, so they fit in there nice. I'm probably not going to be able to do this backwards, so I'm going to turn it around and try to at least let you know what's going on here. So you put the first washer in, the bolt in, the pedal in, And then the second washer, slide in there, and it's in. Now you can see that there's still a little bit of play, but not nearly as much. At least there's not really any side-to-side play. It's mostly kind of a rocking play. I guess you could put like a bushing inside that pedal if you really wanted to tighten it up nice, but this is pretty good. So you got this here. And then the one thing I'm not really impressed about on this kit is this spring here. It works. On a Beetle it's probably okay, but on a Type 3, where the spring mounts on the back of the pedal here, okay, let's try this again. I ended up taking this off and kind of bending this spring here until I could get it on there. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of this thing. It's kind of a pain. So then you've got that. And like I said, on Type 3s, they have a metal pedal shield, and this spring hits on that, so you'll have to trim that out, trim the metal out if you have a Type 3. You can see how it's got a nice pedal action here. This is nice and solid. This is nice and solid, so it goes nice and smooth. And then the rest of it, you just slip this the pedal on here, and as you can see, I drilled this out to put a grease zerk on here so I can grease this up. Now if you've got a manual, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but it's probably going to be slightly different because you have a nice wide space here on a AutoStick or automatic. Also, don't forget to put the spring on first before you put the pedal on. And it goes this way. The hook here and the part that hits on the floor down here. So I got the pedal on, just need to put the snap ring back on. Spring goes there, and then there's this little clippy here. Actually, okay, so you put, all right, so put this on the rod for the master cylinder, and then you got the spring here. Goes in that slot there. And then this here, little clip, goes over the top of that spring. assembly is done. The kit comes with a new pad here, so put that on there. I got that on. Then I'm putting this old worn out brake pad back on because it has the VW emblem on it. You can get a new one, but it has just a V on it, and I'm maybe kind of weird, but I'd rather have a worn out one with the VW on there than a brand shiny new one that doesn't have the VW on there. And the rest of the car isn't going to be a show car anyway. And there you have it. All cleaned up, ready to go. So I've got the pedal assembly done. Now I just need to get the brakes working and hopefully not too much else, and we can take this out on a test drive, see how she runs. For that, stay tuned to the VW Ability channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment below.